it's always nice to do a little bit of musical breakup. Anything you guys want to add to the conversation at this point? Are you guys having fun?
Oh, I'm having a great time.
You guys need some tea or crumpets? No, everybody's good? Let's play a little song by, since we spoke about Jose Gonzalez this morning, we'll play a little bit of Crosses, UFR.
Don't you know that I'll be around to guide you through your weakest moments, to leave them behind you? Returning nightmares, only shadows. Cast some light and you'll be alright. Cast some light and you'll be alright for now. Crossing so long, heavy on your shoulders. The sirens inside you, waiting to step forward. Disturbing silence darkens your sight. Cast some light and you'll be alright. Cast some light and you'll be alright for now. Crossing so long the boulevard. 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 The streets outside your window overflowed. People staring, they know you've been broken. Repeatedly reminded by the looks on their faces. Ignore them tonight and you'll be alright. Cast some light and you'll be alright.
Oh, yes. The smooth grooves of the unified field on a Saturday night. I should tell you, because my brother brought it up, I forgot 2 more books that I bought. The first one's called Gnomes. Excellent. Actually, my good friend, growing up, his mom had the book, and she was always a fantastic collector of literature. And she had this book called Gnomes, and basically just catalogs stories from all over the world, mostly, I think, Holland and that area of their mythology of gnomes, with awesome illustrations, and I wanted to pass it on to my own son.
I've seen that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used that book, as a matter of fact.
As a reference.
As a reference for a few illustrations for your uncle's book,
Right.
The Magic Compass,
That's
a few
right.
years back, yeah.
So, oh yeah, well I guess everybody should know this family is an entertaining and artistic family. I've never mentioned that really before.
No, you haven't, no.
Yeah. Bruce here, he's a prolific artist and a good friend and a father.
Prolific, I don't know about that.
Wow. You're always your own worst
critic.
critic.
Father, yes. Prolific artist, I don't know.
Or reversed, I don't know. Depends on who's looking at that. Yeah, so that's a cool book. And Barb, up there, who is reunited with the source, you are still thought about out here in Waking Physical Life. The other book I bought there at the bookstore, I made a quick reference to it, The Report on Unidentified Flying Objects. The only book about flying saucers based entirely on official Air Force records is the caption on the top. Of course, this book is probably, I think, Project Blue Book took place in the 60s. And written by a guy named Edward J. Ruppelt. who was the former head of the United States Air Force project investigating flying saucers. And this is about Blue Book, which is a really cool piece of history because we all know now how fraudulent and silly the Project Blue Book public information data collection has proved to be. Fraudulent in the way that the scientific method wasn't really followed through in the way that it should have been to report and investigate the claims and sightings of individuals. The conclusions, of course, are the biggest problem. All the data seems to point to the fact that UFOs exist, and this report is just a bit of a sham. So, interesting piece of history I wanted to pick up to add to my collection.
I just wanted to say that since we did mention your uncle, my brother, we should mention his name, and that's Douglas Arthur Brown, because he does listen to this program.
Hey, Doug. How are you? That's right. Douglas also I can't remember the exact month, but he went to Ottawa to speak to Parliament about a bill that they're trying to implement. He spoke on behalf of all writers in Canada. I think he is the vice president of the Writers Federation of Canada. He's one of these. He's at the top. He's at the top of the chain. Anyway, he went to talk about this because they want to implement a bill. Now, if I'm wrong, don't hold me to it. But it was a bill that would have infringed on basically what people would be making from the use of their material through education and beyond. If they wanted to take pieces of books, they wouldn't be compensated for it. So he went to fight. He went to bat for all of the artists of Canada because they're always trying to cut back in the arts, and it's terrible. So congratulations, Doug, for doing that. All kinds of new projects coming up. Thanks for listening.
He actually went up there on his own, too. He was up there by himself representing not only the artists in Canada, but probably in North America. It's a big issue.
Yeah, a huge issue.
Big issue.
Infringing on the well-being and financial well-being of artists all over the place. Ex-Ministry of Defense Nick Pope gets married during the International UFO Congress in Scottsdale, Arizona. Very cool. Now, you know he's ex-Ministry of British National Defense. He served there for a while. He's been one of the leading guys who was turned to for information on UFOs and the connection to, government and research, Department of Defense stuff. He's been in a ton of documentaries on all kinds of radio programs, and he got married to another lady who is also very prolific in education. Just a background on Nick Pope there. He's an international man of mystery, and as close as it gets to the real-life Fox Mulder in England, held true to his role by getting married during UFO Congress last month. That was in February. He worked for the UK Ministry of Defense, Flying Saucer Working Party from 91 to 94, and he married a lovely lady. I'm just trying to find her name here. She's an American physical anthropologist at San Jose State University, Dr. Elizabeth Weiss. And what happened was they were at the Congress, and they took off in the middle of the Congress, went and found a justice of the peace, eloped right there, got married, came back to the Congress, and announced to everybody that they just got married. So congratulations, Mr. Nick Pope. 16 people who believe in aliens. I should make mention that the last story, a lot of these stories you're going to hear tonight are referenced from Open Minds because they are the world's greatest source for what's happening. They're on the pulse. This next one, too, I think this comes from, amog.com. I'm just going to go through the list because we've got a lot of news and I've only got 20 minutes before I want to air this thing. But here's some people, and this first one's surprising, that believe in UFOs. Stephen Hawking is one of them. After all of his statements about aliens this year, he's in the news again for believing in aliens. We got Mayuki Hatoyama. She's Japan's prime minister. Interesting. And of course, Kirsan Yuli-Umsanab, who we're always talking about on the program. He was the president of the Chess Federation of Kalmykia and the governor of the former governor of the Buddhist Republic of Kalmykia in Russia. And he claimed that he was abducted by aliens from his Moscow apartment in 1997. No shame. Yep, I was abducted. No big deal. Let's play some chess. Dan Aykroyd believes in aliens also. He's been on a really awesome documentary if you haven't seen it. John Lennon, David Bowie, surprise, surprise. Gordon Cooper, former astronaut with NASA. No surprise there. Jackie Gleason and Richard Nixon did too. Mick Jagger, Dad, he believes in aliens.
Yeah, there's one of those in his band, I think, Keith Richards.
I think so. It's amazing he is still alive. Muhammad Ali believes in aliens.
The greatest.
The greatest.
Of all time.
Dance like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah. Believes
Awesome.
in UFOs, too.
Yeah, that's right. So we got Jimmy Carter. I'm pretty sure you guys know that. Walter Cronkite believed in aliens. And this is the segue into my next story here. Former rocker and singer for bands such as Eddie Van Halen, Ronnie Montrose, Neil Scone, anyway, Journey. And he played with Satriani, and now he's in this band called Chickenfoot. Sammy Hagar believes in aliens. And not only that, he's got this new book called Red, a bio on him, that says that he was abducted by aliens. No big deal. He said he was digitally downloaded with information from these extraterrestrials in the time before wireless communication and cell phones and everything else. So, pretty cool. He's another dude that's coming out, and surprise, surprise, Mr. William Shatner believes in UFOs. Of course he does. Oh, forgot to mention Ronald Reagan. He's always making addresses. He used to always make addresses to the UN Council that we should be united if there was, in fact, an alien threat from outer space.
Is President Jimmy Carter on that list?
He is.
Yeah, okay.
He is. And guess who the number one guy is on this list? Who my brother is named after.
Is it Elvis?
Aaron Spitz.
What?
Elvis Presley?
It is correct.
Yes!
You win the Daily Double. Elvis Presley is on this list. Pretty cool. What do you think, Jim?
I think it's great.
Pretty fun, eh?
Yeah, big time.
So that's cool. Oh,
I think it's amazing.
wait. Hold on now.
Yeah.
What's that?
I just think it's amazing that Aaron was named after Elvis. It's news to me.
His
I'm
middle name,
father.
Aaron, yeah.
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 Congrats on that, Aaron.
That was
good for you,
thank
man.
Thank you very much.
So I'm sorry you got left in the dark about that, Dad. Jeez. You know what? I got to make one quick mention before we go on. That I played a little commercial earlier about this awesome event coming up. It's CKDU FM presents Back to the Future Dance Party Enchantment Under the Sea. Be there, be square, Friday, April 1st at the ANAF Club, 2409 Maynard Street, which is the hippest of the hipster zone in Halifax. So be there, 9 p.m. costume and door prizes. Check that out, $6. How fun would that be? All right, back to the news here. This is really interesting stuff that I'm about to talk to you about. Didn't you have a question earlier before we get into that?
Oh, news-wise?
Yeah.
I was wondering, have you heard about to do with asteroids and trying to, I don't know if it was land on one or something like that?
None of this stuff on the unified field is scripted. This is all truth. It's all synchronicity. No, just kidding. In the break, we talked about this little segue. NASA is planning a manned mission, the first ever to an asteroid, coming up. Pretty exciting stuff. I don't know if it's because they're trying to avoid missions to the dark side of the moon. I think most people know about the conspiracies about what is up there. A lot of astronauts have said that the reason we're not going back to the moon is because there was already somebody else there. So by 2025, we're supposed to have new spacecraft designed for long journeys that will allow us to begin the first ever crew missions beyond the moon into deep space. And we'll start sending astronauts to an asteroid for the first time in history by the mid-2030s. Hopefully by 2025. There's no reason why we can't get there now. It says here they believe they can send humans to orbit Mars and return them safely to Earth, and landing on Mars will follow. But as Space.com points out, the task of picking out the right asteroid is presently, quote, the most urgent task for any space rock mission. Planetary scientist and former NASA astronaut Tom Jones told Space.com, quote, right now we only have a few targets in our catalog. We need a lot more to provide us with the maximum mission flexibility, end quote. NASA's working hard to meet the goal of sending astronauts to an asteroid-bound mission by 2025, a global concerted effort. I've got some help for you, NASA. Why don't you go and send some people to the Apophis asteroid that's on a possible